So let's make a budget, because we cannot treat our money with a YOLO lifestyle mindset. You only live once, but your life is a lot longer than the shelf life of your money. Your money may last 1 second and then it's gone. So let's get our lives all the way together. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, Discover Yogi. I am Jakita, and as always, if you're new here and you find yourself watching at least a minute or two of this video, then I think that we can both agree that you need to subscribe. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button below and tap the bell so that you can get my notifications. And if you're not new here, thank you so much for continuing to support me. And with that being said, it is Sunday, which means it's time for another episode of Self-Care Sunday, where we explore different tips to help you take better care of yourself. And so today's tip is to create a budget. And so very simply put, a budget is a summary of your income and expenses for a given period of time. A budget gives you a snapshot of your finances. And so there are many ways to approach a budget, but today I'm going to keep it very simple. So you will only need two categories of things. So the first thing is you'll need a list of your income, and the second is a list of your expenses. Simply put, your budget will be your total income minus your total expenses, which will leave you with your net income, or that extra amount that you can allocate in other places. So for income, you want to gather all the stubs for every job that you have and write them down. But you only want to use the net income, which is the income after taxes. This is the income that you actually see. Make sure that you're including all sources of income that you're actually using towards paying your bills. So if you are using income from one job or two jobs or three jobs, it doesn't matter. You have to include it if you're using it towards paying your bills or your expenses. So you may have other income, such as investments, that are making money for you, but you're not actually using that money to pay your bills. So you can keep that as a record, but you don't have to use that in your budget right now. And so just to make this budget a little easier, we're just going to do a monthly budget. So this is based on what you're paying for the full month and not just by week. But you can do a budget that's based on how often you're paid. And so you also want to know how often you're paid from each source. So you may be getting paid weekly or bi-weekly or semi-monthly or just on a monthly basis. But you want to know how much you're getting paid for each source so that you can go ahead and calculate how much you're paid on a monthly basis. So if you're being paid semi-monthly, which means twice a month, then you want to make sure you take your income on one stub and multiply it by 2. Or if you're getting paid weekly, you want to multiply it by 4 or 5, depending on how many weeks are in the actual month. And that's going to give you your total income. And so that's it for income. So let's move on to expenses. So you would naturally have a longer list of expenses than you would for your list of income. But that doesn't mean that your expenses will necessarily exceed your income. So you will need to gather all of your expenses or the bills that you have to pay on a monthly basis. So for me, or for most people, the first thing that you have to record is your rent or your mortgage, depending on if you're renting or if you have a house. Number 2 is your utilities, which includes your electricity and your water. And sometimes those bills are separate, so you will have to include either the amounts together or you can include a line for each. Number 3 is food and groceries. And I mean groceries by cleaning supplies, toiletries, all those things that aren't considered food, but you still have to buy on a monthly basis. Number 4 is transportation. And that includes gas if you have a car, or bus fare, or if you use the metro or whatever, you have to include that in your transportation costs. Number 5 is insurance. So that includes car, house, and whatever other insurance that you may need to have or that you're paying for. There are so many different things that you can have insurance on, so I'm not sure what you're paying, but that's where you need to put that. And you can include it as one big total, or you can list each type of insurance that you're paying out. Number 6 is entertainment, and I was supposed to name this like cable or something, but who pays for cable anymore? So entertainment, which includes cable, internet, Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, YouTube Red, whatever monthly subscription service you're using or you're paying for that falls under that entertainment category. That needs to be there. And like I said, for the others, you can also list them as separate expenses, or you can list it all as one big expense. So number 7 is debt. And under debt falls loans and credit cards, anything that you use as cash that you have to pay back. So you have to include your student loans, your personal loans, and any type of credit card that you have, or any other type of debt that you've acquired that is outside of the norm. Other things you might want to include in your budget are memberships that you have. So if you're part of professional organizations or gyms or anything that requires a monthly membership, yoga studio, whatever, you have to include that as well. And another thing that is included that's optional, depends on your religious beliefs, but a lot of people pay out tithes and offering every month, and so you also have to include a line for that. And there are a host of other things that you can list for your expenses. And so after you finish listing all of your expenses, you will total them up to get your total expenses, and you will subtract them from your total income. And so that total will tell you how much you have left over or how much you don't have left over. And so this was just an overview, and it was only based on the monthly budget. You can further break it down, like I get paid semi-monthly, which means I get paid twice a month. So I always break mine down into 2 different budgets. And so also working in the date that most of my bills are due. Most of my bills are due the first week of the month. So that means that for the first check, which is on the 15th, I subtract out half of my expenses so that I don't spend that money. And then by the end of the month, I can subtract out the whole expense and then pay that bill. And it depends on if you have something due in the middle of the month as well. I have other bills that are due at different times, and so I may switch it up. So I may take out half at the end of the month and then pay the full on the 15th. And so that's just a very simple example. You can also break it down by weekly budgets if that's how you're paid. So if your expenses are more than your income, then at least you have a snapshot of your finances to be able to analyze it and see what you can cut down so that you can actually have a little more income than expense. So you can think about cutting out some of the subscription services that you have, so Netflix, Spotify, Hulu, all of those, and then putting that money towards other bills that you actually need to pay. So if your income exceeds your expenses, so you still have money left over, you can use that money to allocate to different things. So it depends on what your goals are. So if you're trying to build a savings account, you can take that money and put into a savings account. Or if you're investing into investments, then you can take that money and put into your investment account. Or if you're saving for a vacation or a trip, you can take that money and put it into another account for that as well, or just set it aside for that. And so that's it. That's your budget. It's simple. It's your total income minus your total expenses, which tells you how much you have left over. And then if you have any left over, you can allocate that towards anything else that will help you to reach your goals for that month or that year. So if you would like a simple sample budget to fill in your income and your expenses, then send me an email, which is listed right here or down in the description bar, and I will send you a very simple budget. Yes, my email is bodyroll@thiscurvyyogi.com. I can't stand the simple info at whatever. So send me an email there and I will send you that budget. And let me know down in the comments any other expenses that you may incur that I may have missed that others may incur as well. So let me know down in the comments what those are. And that's it. And remember, I am always sending love and light your way, and I hope that you catch some of these positive vibes today, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also tap the bell so that you can be notified when I upload new videos. Follow me on all of my socials and visit my website, thiscurvyyogi.com, for even more exclusive content. And remember, I'll be back every other Sunday with another episode of Self-Care Sunday. So I will see you guys soon.